morning, Gravity Falls! Welcome to another very exciting episode of Gossiping Gossipers. Today, I am here with the lovely, the talented, the extremely witty, and gorgeous Steph Art.
Some of that is true.
All of it is true. Shut up. Alrighty. So, guess no point in beating around the bush. How did you first get into Gravity Falls, and what was your first viewing experience like?
So that was one of the shows that I kept hearing about. It was in Gravity Falls, Steven Universe, and right now, currently, Adventure Time and Phineas and Ferb are in that category of shows where I keep hearing are really, really good, and I just had not sat down to watch it. I did see stills of it, and I saw like bits and pieces here and there. I think I saw a part of the finale, kind of offhanded. I think my sister was watching it. But I didn't pay any attention to it, and I was doing something else, and so I saw like pictures and images, and I was like, it's pretty looking. I'll check it out later. And I don't know what got me to watch it in the first place. I just know I sat down on my computer and I was like, okay, I'm bored. Gotta find something to do. And I went on like a Kiss cartoon or something like that, and I was like, yeah, this show looks cute. Let me just check it out. And it took me a bit. It took me a few episodes to like really fall in love with it, but I think after about like the fourth episode, I was a few hours in already, and I was like, I think I'm just gonna finish this entire thing, and I did. And at the end of it, I bawled, like ugly cried, ugly cried. I don't cry for anything. I get sad, but I never actually like cry. I was in tears, bawling. I had to pause because I had to pause and go distract myself for a second, and then I went right back. I sat in my closet, which at the time was my makeshift office because my closet was enormous. It was like a big walk-in. I could fit my desk in it, and I had like my Cintiq and I had all my stuff in it, and that was my little hot bucks. So I used to smoke a lot.
That's actually kind of cool, like your own little secret office. That's cool.
Yeah, I was with my mom at the time, so that was my own little area. Yeah. And so that's where I watched it. I'm not entirely sure it was because I was intoxicated or because it was just such an amazing show, but I did. Well, probably both. It's probably a combination of both.
It's okay if you credit that finale. That's definitely doable. And I've heard the same response. Like, it seems like if you're not a crier, somehow this show will get you to cry. So definitely not the only one. So, obvious aside, not what he seems and blah blah blah. Did you have a favorite episode?
Favorite episode. It still stands today. Is the hand that rocks the Mabel. When we first meet Gideon, I crack up every time I hear Gideon tell his dad, "I can buy and sell you, old man." And he walks out. I don't know why. That cracked me up the first time I saw it, and it still makes me laugh today. I really love Gideon.
I think it's just the execution, like
the actor, the way he screams it is fantastic.
Yeah. I love the fact that that's not even like a pretend voice. That's his actual speaking voice. Like that's what he sounds like.
Well, he does kind of sound like that, but he just kind of does the accent. He's got like he kind of lifts his voice up a little bit, and he does that southern accent.
Yeah, of course, yeah, the southern accent. But like, I mean, like if you've heard the dude talk, it's
no, yeah, that's 100% him.
Yeah, and then like you take a look at him, and he's this big, bald dude with a big beard, and you're like, whoa, like,
yeah.
I wasn't expecting it, but I love it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's the thing about the way that I watch stuff for the very first time. My very first viewings are always me kind of mindlessly watching. I'm trying not to theorize. I try to look in the background for stuff. I'm just watching very face value. So a lot of the twists and turns caught me 100% by surprise.
That's good. That's good.
It's a really fun way to watch stuff, and it's really it's super easy for me to get into to try to watch stuff almost very blindly because I didn't know anything about the show the first time I saw it. I saw.
Son of a
I didn't.
bitch.
Yeah, I didn't know the names of the characters. Didn't know anything about it. So I was in completely blind. So like I didn't know, nothing got spoiled for me. I didn't. At the same time, I was
Good.
also not very active on social media, so I didn't. I wasn't there when people were watching it, and I never got to see any images or fan art or anything because I don't know what I was doing. I think I, I
No,
think I
that's
was
good.
I think I was in college, and I think I was just like doing that. Uh,
Yeah.
and like I think a lot of my art at the time, up until about 2018ish or 2019ish, I was doing mostly very portfolio based art, trying to get a job in animation. So
Hmm.
I didn't do a whole lot of my fun fan art stuff.
Mm.
At least not for a while, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's good. That's good. And like, I think it's again, I think you had a really good viewing experience. I think your viewing experience is a good strategy to have if you're watching it all in one go.
I
Like,
was. I was binging. I think it took me like about 3 days to finish it off.
yeah. Like, I wouldn't recommend that strategy if it was a show that was continuing going,
Yeah,
like watching the episode every single week. But for a show like that's completed and you're binging it, I
yeah.
think that is the smart way to go
I,
because, like
yeah.
you said, all the twists and turns completely catch you off guard.
Mhm.
And then when you rewatch it, you can catch all the clues and go like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I think
Mm.
my second viewing, I watched it with my younger brother, and
Mm.
so Stan became my favorite character at the finale when my first viewing.
Of course.
Because my first viewing, my favorite character was always Bill. I'm a big fan of villains. I adore villains.
Ah.
I love me some villains, and he is a fantastic villain. I love to hate him.
Yeah,
Um,
he's a good villain in that sense. Yeah, you'll love to
yeah.
hate him. Like, oh, you little shit.
Yeah. So my favorites are always going to be the villains, and I adored him. And Stan became my favorite right at the finale. During
Of course.
his sacrifice.
Uh-huh.
That was what made me cry actually. Uh,
Uh-huh.
Losing him, I forgot I was watching a Disney show because for several reasons I was intoxicated. And I had just binged it for again 2 days, 2 3 days,
Mhm.
and so
Mhm.
I was in it. I was absolutely immersed into it, and I had forgotten that they can Dos Machina that stuff, and he was totally fine.
Right. So you thought it was like for real,
Yeah,
like.
I don't know if I thought it was for real, but I sure as hell just emotionally thought it. My emotions were there anyway.
I think I was too focused on the fact that it had happened to think ahead, like. Because I got spoiled on Stan having a twin brother. I had spoiled myself
uh,
caring. A week or so after it aired in 2016, the internet is exploding because within a week, people found out not only that Stan had a twin brother, but that Garnet was a fusion. And
oh
so
yeah.
all the internet, yeah, and so the internet was just, you couldn't go anywhere without hearing about Steven Universe or Gravity Falls. And I had watched the clip where Ford came out of the portal. I was like, why do I care? And so I'm watching the show. I know, ironic. I know. I wish I could go back in time and punch myself in the goddamn face, but I can't. But like, so fast forward a few years later, when I watch the show, I'm going, oh, I'm a bitch.
Yeah, I I hate I hated Stan in that episode. I immediately distrusted him. I was on Dipper's side, and I
Oh,
was panicking when Mabel let go of the thing. I was like, "You
uh,
stupid bitch!" And I didn't know what was gonna happen. I had no clue. I didn't know what was happening. I did not trust him, uh, and I was completely caught off guard. I was not expecting it at all. The year before, I had lost my uncle to cancer. I think
oh
I was
no.
still really raw. I think I watched
Oh
it
no.
probably a few months after the finale, maybe a few weeks after the finale. I had no clue.
Oh.
I had no clue. So maybe maybe that was just untapped emotions that I put into it. But because Stan really reminds me of him in a lot of ways.
Oh.
Uh, but so I think that also may be a contributing factor. It wasn't just my uncle either. I lost a good chunk of my family, not to death, but I mean some drama happened, and
Oh.
I have not spoken to that side of the family in the past 2015. So since then, since 2015, I haven't spoken to them. So Gravity Falls was a good surrogate when it came to like family stuff because my family was also just as close. So I think that was that's why I get so attached. I got so attached to the show so fast. Although my hyperfixation didn't start whenever I watched it the first time. It started probably like the end of 2018 or like the beginning of 2019 was whenever I started doing fan art.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
So I started. What was it? No. I think I posted fan art for the first time last year, actually, like in January 2020.
Yeah, I won't lie. I've been stalking you for quite some time, my dear. So I think you're right. Yeah, that sounds correct.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I do have the very first piece of fan art that I did for Gravity Falls on my wall right next to me. It's
Oh.
It's this acrylic painting of Bill that says "Reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold, buy." And it's it I got a highlighter and I went through it and I just destroyed the thing with secret messages. So if you put it under a black light, it has all these secret messages and stuff and secret drawings. It's pretty cool.
It's super cool.
Yeah, it's I did that forever ago. I think I was doing a painting class, which is why I was just like, let's paint, let's paint this. I wanted to do it, but I didn't post it anywhere because I think I did that actually probably 2017ish, maybe 2016ish. It was a long time ago, and I don't think I did anything else for another few years. I definitely didn't post anything anywhere for until last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so very glad that you posted things and began on your journey. Because your art is really, really good. Like, it's got such a distinct style, but it also feels very Gravity Falls, and like your sense of humor is so fucking good. Like every joke just lands so perfectly. Like I think one of my favorite comics that just always fucking makes me laugh every goddamn time is Ford and Seuss. They're talking, and Ford asks like, "Hey, what does thick with double C's mean?" And Seuss is like, "Oh, um, well, means you have a nice butt." and he was like, "Oh, okay." And then he's blushing and goes, "Thank you, Fiddleford." Like, like it always makes me laugh. Like his little blushy face. Like, it's...
I always love Blushy Grunk. He's so cute. They're both so adorable.
I knew it. Oh, they're both really fucking cute, but just the blushy owl, it just, mwah, oh, just so good. I can never resist. Can you tell us how you first got into Rick and Morty?
Rick and Morty. That's the first show I've ever watched where I fell in love. First episode.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
it is a really good first episode.
It's a great first episode, and I was hooked within like the first few minutes. Like I think whenever actually when Rick bursts into Morty's room and he's drunk and he's like fiddling around and like the intro hadn't even started yet. The intro hadn't even started yet, and I was hooked already. And I was just like, I love this show. I'm gonna finish the rest of this. I'm gonna sit here and finish
Adam
it.
and Eve, Morty. I'm gonna create a new Adam and Eve. And you're gonna be Adam. And it's gonna be
Jessica's gonna be Eve.
You don't have to worry about me stealing your thunder, Morty. She's all for you. I think my favorite joke has got to be when they first arrive on the planet and Rick is like calming Morty down. He's like, "No, you just stick with me, Morty." Whoa, oh, holy shit, Morty! Into the monster. I've never seen anything before, but
he says, "Don't worry about a thing, Morty. I've been to all sorts of places, all everywhere. I've seen all these things. Don't need to worry about a thing." Oh my god, what the hell is that? I don't know what the heck that is. Get away from it! It's gonna kill us.
We're gonna die, Morty. We're gonna die. And then, of course, the infamous ending scene, like, in reality, you're as dumb as they come. But I need those seeds real bad. Rick and Morty for 100 years. Oh my gosh.
some Rick and Morty fan art that I think it's the first piece of fan art. It's this really elaborate painting that I did of Rick and Morty running. It's buried deep in my Tumblr somewhere. And it's I believe when I posted it on Tumblr, the Adult Swim's official Tumblr reblogged it. It's
Ooh, holy shit.
Yeah. It's a really good piece. I'll have to find it. It's again, it's buried deep down there, and I think that one took me like it's long for me, about 2 days to get it done. I really got into it when I was watching was it the E3 stream with Justin and Alex when they're doing like stanzas. That's whenever they sing "I Got You, Babe." I watched that live and I was enamored. And I was like, why are these stanzas shippers just pushing this? Because that's what they were doing the entire stream, was pushing stanzas. And then they got that's really, I thought it was funny.
Oh, nice. I wasn't there for it live, but I did go back and watch the original clip, and like a couple people have animated, stuff to it, and it's so fucking hilarious.
Oh, I love it.
To where my
I think I watched almost all of the streams they did live. I remember I'd watched the what was it? The first one where they have Jason and Kristen there, and they sing Bohemian Rhapsody, and then they get Jason to sing Hamilton songs. At that time, I hadn't heard of Hamilton, and he actually got me into it. I listened to "You'll Be Back," and I was like, I listened to Dipper sing "You'll Be Back," and I was like, that seems like fun, nice. And then he described what the show was, and I was like, that sounds awesome. I'm gonna sit and listen to that. Now I love it.
One little connection that I found that just always kind of blows my mind is, Dipper sings "You'll Be Back," right?
Mm-hmm.
And the original guy who sings the song, the play, I can't think of his name right now.
Jonathan Groff.
Yeah. He plays Kristoff in Frozen, right?
Yeah, he does.
And then, have you seen Frozen 2?
Yeah, and then Jason's in Frozen 2.
Exactly. Like, I don't know why, but
not only that, but he's like Jonathan Groff's character's buddy. He's Kristoff's buddy trying to help him propose.
Some people actually ship them. They're like, fuck it. Like, Anna doesn't even notice him. These two could be gay together. And I'm like, okay. But, like, I felt like I was that meme with the cigarette and the connecting lines when I found that out. I was like, guys, look, like, it's okay. Like, just trust me. Just go with it. I'll ask you about one more show, just because nobody I know wants to talk about it, and it's killing me. What do you think about Hell of a Boss?
Hell of a Boss. I think it's good.
Yes.
It's a cute show. I mostly got into it. I was Invader Zim was my first hyperfixation, and I am not the biggest fan of Vivzy Pop. I think her animation is super distracting. It's just a whole lot of movement, and like it's not. It's, I guess, I don't know. It bothers me. Something about it bothers me. And I didn't love Has-Been Hotel. I thought it was okay. I thought it's cute. It's all right. Still, there's too much going on. There's a lot of movement in every frame. And Hell of a Boss is a lot more tame, but I do like it. I sat and I watched it. I was like, "Ooh, Richie's on here. I gotta sit and watch Richard. I gotta sit and watch Richard do his thing." Richard Horvitz, by the way, the voice of Invader Zim. Yeah. For the viewers. I adore him. I've met him like 4 times. I have several autographs from him.
That's awesome.
Invader Zim was my first big hyperfixation. I think I'm still technically hyperfixated on that show, but it's not as prevalent as Gravity Falls right now.
I mean, you got a fucking tattoo, sis. I don't know what to tell you.
I did just get a tattoo today.
Yeah, like yeah, I get what you mean with Vizzy Pop's animation style. Personally, I like it only because, like, I feel like every time I watch it, I see something new. Like, I catch something new in the background, or I see a new movement. And that's also what I kind of like about Gravity Falls. It never seems to fail that every time I watch it, I catch something new, I learn something new, I see something new, and the same thing, in my opinion, goes for Has Been Hotel or
Yeah.
Hell of a Boss. But I really like the comedy style of both shows, but especially Hell of a Boss. And I agree, I love Moxie, and I love Moxie and Millie's relationship.
I do
It's
too.
so
They're very
healthy
cute.
and so cute. I love the
I
song that
love
he
that
wrote
song.
for
Richie has
her.
such a good voice. People need to make him sing more. He has he's a really good voice.
I know.
His voice sounds like he should not sing well, but he 100% does, and he sings fantastically.
Yeah, he does. He really does. I love. I'll never get over how at the end of the song, "Are you fucking filming us right now?" And they're like, I'm also quite the fan of Brandon Rogers. Like, and
Who's that?
he's a YouTuber. He voices
Okay,
Blitz. He voices
Blitz.
Blitz. Yeah, and he's also the writer. Like, he and Visipop helped work together to create the show. And if you like Hell of a Boss, you really should look him up on YouTube. He made this one video called Karen versus Kathy, and it's so fucking funny. Like, his impression of Karen, like the stereotype Karen,
Yeah.
is so fucking hilarious.
I'm waiting for my son to finish detention.
Aw, your son's in detention.
He is, and I'm drunk.
There it is.
Yep.
I wish I could talk to your manager.
I'm a mom. I am the manager.
Oh, well, I'm sure the kids have a great father figure.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah, well, you know.
But your husband can't make you squirt that far.
Well, at least I have a husband.
Anyone can marry a dog, especially a bitch.
All right, let's cut the shit, Kathy. You're in my parking spot, and goddammit, you know you are.
You know what? This is what I think of your parking space.
I'm calling the cops. Oh, good. You mean the only number your phone has?
I just took a photo of your license plate. Your life is ruined.
Yeah, well, I just took a picture of your face, and now my phone is ruined.
I do plan to watch Invader Zim at one point. All I know is that the movie that Netflix released a few years back is really, really good.
It's
that a lot
fantastic.
of people, yeah, I do know a lot of people are sort of thirsty for the professor. I think
don't see
a
it.
little- I know nothing about the show. This is just shit that I've picked up from Tumblr.
Yeah.
People are thirsty for him. And I do know about
he's hot!
Gurr.
Yeah.
That, like,
Everybody
he's
knows
just
about
this
Gurr.
stupid little like, he's just this crazy little, like, I don't know.
Yeah. I suggest
like
watching
him.
the movie. If you don't have time to watch the show, sit and watch the movie. The creator, Jonan Vasquez, wrote that movie specifically for people who have never seen the show before. So you can sit down and watch. You can. There's stuff in it that if you have watched the show, you're rewarded with little bits and pieces here and there and little information. Even if he did a lot of stuff that was like good for super fans. There's a lot of stuff in there that I noticed and I was like, how does he remember that? But he wrote it with knowing that people would probably watch it and had never seen the show before. So you can go in and watch it without seeing it, or you can sit and watch the show and get rewarded.
Maybe I'll watch the movie first, then watch the show, and then watch the movie again. Because the bits and pieces I've seen, like the one with the shark, like I saw the bit with his head, like sharks are not our friends. I know better.
I know better now.
I know better, and I was like, Jesus! Like, or of course the meme that I used for Honey's commercial, not scientifically possible. And it's like, I think I was the one that asked you to. I was the one that asked you to draw that thing with like Morty, because I was like, oh, that's his voice. Oh, Steph would love to draw that.
Yeah, I've met him, Roger Bumpus, who plays the professor. I have met.
Really?
Yeah, he's also the voice of Squidward. I had him do Squidward's laugh.
That's right, he does. What was meeting him like?
He was cool. He was a really nice guy. I saw him again at the bar in the hotel that we were at, because it was for a convention. I think it was for InvaderCon 3. It was over in it was up in Austin, and I took the drive up there, and I went to go and meet up with everybody, and I did my fandom thing, and I met a good chunk of the staff there. I had already met the voices of Zim and Gurr. and I also met the voice of the Dib sister Gaz, and one of the writers, Professor Membrane. I got a drawing of a poster up on my wall of everybody's autographs.
That's really cool. Man, what about we can do to get at Gravity Falls Comic Con? Like, how
Oh
cool would that be?
God.
I mean, 10 or so years after Invader Sim has ended, there's Comic Cons for it. Surely there's enough
They were going to
people.
do another Comic Con because they were gonna do another convention for it after the movie came out. Because the guy who was in charge of those conventions, he's friends with Richard Horvitz, and they kind of came up with the idea of it. And the first time it was a really small, intimate little thing, and then it got a little bigger the next year. And they did it for 3 years, and on number 3, the guy said no more unless for some reason the show comes back. And then they made the movie like several years later. And they were gonna do it last year, but 2020.
Yeah, I know. My boyfriend used to go to a shit ton of conventions, and like, he wants to take me to them when they reopen, and I want to go so bad. And so I tried not to let him know how thirsty I was to meet some of these people, because he asked me like, "Who would you want to meet?" And I was like, I really want to meet Rob Paulson.
Oh, Rob Paulson! I have his
I
autograph.
want to meet him.
I
want to meet him so bad.
He's a sweetie. I listened to his podcast, and he's just such a sweet person. Him and his relationship with all the other voice actors is just so pure.
I know, yeah, and I really want to meet him.
And him and Maurice's relationship, good God, it's so cute.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure that they themselves ship Pinky and the Brain. And I think that's fantastic. I don't know, since I see them together and they're like, "Oh, I love you, Brain. I love you, Pinky."
I think they do ship it. Like, you know what? Fuck it, whatever.
Why
One
not?
of my favorite. Sorry, go on.
I said, why not?
Yeah. Exactly. I think one of my favorite videos to watch of Rob Paulson of all time was Fine Bros React. They did a video of where Rob and the voice actor for Wacko, what's his fucking name? Whatever.
Yes, Harnell.
Yes, those two. Yes, they reacted to kids reacting to Animaniacs.
I love that video.
It's so good because like the kids are like, oh wow, they're constantly breaking the fourth wall, and like, and the adults are like, how do they know about the fourth wall? When did these kids get so smart? Like, when they get so precocious? Like, what is happening? And like they just like the kids would say something really smart, and then like the adults would just be so impressed and proud, like, wow, like, okay then. And then it was such a fun video to watch. But if I ever miss some Rob Paulson, that's what I go to. Moseying back over to Gravity Falls, you know what, I'm just gonna jump right back into it. Jacob, Pop Stan, what the actual hell? Like, did you make it your goal in life to destroy people's lives with such overwhelming cuteness and family positivity? Like, what the hell, fam? It's so fucking good! Like, what started the whole Pop Stan AU Jacob type shit?
I don't know. I think it was just I think it was just because I really liked the implied relationship we got with Seuss and Stan.
Of course.
There's a lot of little stuff in there that I think about every so often. And I was like, he let Seuss hang out in his house after hours a lot. Like, he came over to celebrate Summerween, and it wasn't like, it was like he nothing surprising or like that. Like you could think like, oh, he's just hanging out with the kids, but I'm like, they're 12 years old. He obviously goes there every year to go and hang out and do Summerween with Stan, and not that he lets them like hang out at the house like at night and like and he's had Seuss as his handyman since Seuss was like 12, 13, maybe even a little younger. So that's a good chunk of a person's adolescence and teenagehood. So I think I like to think that at some point, he just kind of started letting Sus just hang out there, and it was no big deal. And I think about it a lot. I think about the fact that Stan was most likely by himself, working the shop by himself, and he had help here and there, but nobody like Sus. And because Stan gets arrested, his one phone call is to Sus, and there's a lot of little things in there that don't there's also like Stan has Dipper doing manual labor, and he's sitting on the couch he's sitting on the couch in the back right next to Sus, and they're just like talking and shooting the shit. And Sus is asks him like, why are you so hard on Dipper, and he like confides in him, tells him about his past, and talks to him about stuff. So there's a really deep relationship there that they didn't really get dug into, and I really wish that they did. And it was and I loved it. I love that stuff.
I do too. It sort of continues the sort of message that Gravity Falls delivers, that like, yes, blood family is important and you should cherish it, but what is equally as important as beloved is the found family.
I love that bit so much.
You get along the way. And and like that really is just like the core message, I think, of Gravity Falls, because they really drive home how important blood family is, with twins and brothers
and also
sticking out for each other. Of course.
Ford comes throughout the portal and he points out like, who are these people? Like, who is this person? And Stan goes, well, this your family. Doesn't even say like, there's our niece and nephew and Sus. It's our family. So I think he considers him family without even really like, without needing to adopt him or like say that like, there's a relationship there that he considers Sus a part of his family.
Yeah, exactly. I love the little tidbit we got on Sus's birthday, that like clearly the only reason why Stan doesn't do anything for his birthday is because Sus has made it abundantly clear, don't do anything for my birthday. And of course he relates, he understands, so he's not going to do anything. But he somehow managed to get himself banned from all airplanes by trying to remove the date from calendars. Like, what the actual fuck?
Which is so sweet. It's such a Stan thing to do for like his family. Something's hurting him, something's hurting a member of my family. I will go to drastic measures to make sure that they are no longer in pain. And I think it's very cute.
I just want to know how the fuck you go from point A to point B. Like,
I don't either.
How the fuck does trying to get you a date removed from calendars get you banned from airplanes?
This is on the no-fly list. Something must have happened.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. There's just something so charming about Pop Stan that just like, it hits all the right emotions. Like,
and then there's a lot of implications that Stan wanted to be a dad
of course
when he was a lot younger, and I really love that for him. That I feel like he was the type of kid that would think about it but never really say anything about it. Like how a person dreams about their wedding day. I feel like he kind of did the same thing and thought about his kids and what he would possibly name them. But then, of course, stuff happens and that doesn't end up happening for him. And then I'm sure he like had several chances, but decided to pass on it or couldn't. Although in the commentary, he talks about, he mentions like, I bet you're wondering why I never had any kids. But then he starts talking about his dad, and he starts talking about like how awful his dad was. And I had come to that conclusion. I think I wrote about it in a Tumblr post. That it was him basically saying he was both afraid of becoming a parent and becoming like his dad. Afraid that would be the person that he would be if he ever had kids. And then also he was preoccupied. He was homeless for the longest time, and then he had the shack to take care of, and then he was trying to put the portal back together. He was kind of distracted, and he couldn't really do the things that he would have liked to have done. I'm sure in an alternate universe, he is a dad to several children.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, like, it's so, again, I blame toxic masculinity, not just from his dad, but from American culture, especially in the 1950s and 60s. Like, even today, if a girl says, "When I grow up, I want to be a mommy," no, nobody thinks bad about that, and they go, "Aw, sweetie, that's so sweet. If you want to be a mommy, you be a daddy." Now, if a little boy says, "When I grow up, I want to be a daddy," suddenly, like, "Oh, honey, you can be a daddy, but you also need to think of a career." Like, that's not something that's like encouraged. So I totally agree. There's no doubt in my mind that Stan had those thoughts, had those feelings, but didn't tell anyone, certainly didn't vocalize it in any sort of way.
Yeah.
Like, maybe he would mention it once or twice to Ford as like a passing comment, like,
Yeah, like, oh
I
yeah,
have
we
kids.
can do this, and then me and my kids, we can all do this. Yeah, like
Yeah,
he
like, sort of, yeah,
assumed his future was a giant family of his own.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But he got it. He got it.
Yeah,
He
he
got
did,
it.
and I love the idea that that's where Seuss kind of plays that part. Because then later in that commentary, Seuss comes in and he said that he was eavesdropping, and because Stan said something about wanting to play catch with his dad, and that never happened. So he comes with a football, and he's just like, "Hey, you want to play some games?" And instead of he does kind of say like, you're eavesdropping, aren't you? Okay, all right, and then he immediately jumps at the chance, like, "All right, let's play." And it's so cute, and I'm like, of course, I love that they found each other. It's so sweet, and those two really do need each other. And I think a good chunk of the Jacob stuff came from me just wanting to see Stan hold a baby, and I was like, what baby would he be holding? So at some point, I think I drew him with the twins as babies, and that's really cute. And then I don't know what possessed me to create Jacob. I just did it one day, and I didn't even have a name for him, and I just posted it, and I was like, "There you go." Here's, I was like, here's some feels for you guys, and it's so sweet. He's just holding Jacob, and he's just got his little hand on his face, going pep pep. That was because I was trying to figure out a name. I knew I wanted his middle name to be Stanley, for very obvious reasons. But I was trying to find a name that just sounded right, and I went through one of those baby name websites. I put in the last name I put in the last name and the middle name, and I just pushed random, and I kept saying them out loud, and I was like, that doesn't sound right. That's got a weird vibe to it, and I was like, Jacob Stanley Ramirez. That's got an okay vibe, and I tried a bunch of names, and I eventually landed on Jacob because it just thought it flows really nicely.
It does.
And I do like that name. I believe Jacob was the name that my stepmom had picked out for a possible brother that I was going to have, but he ended up becoming my sister. He ended up being born my younger sister. The name was already kind of in my head, and I just didn't know what to do with it. And there he was.
Oh, that's so sweet. And now he's got a little sister.
He does. I still haven't really have her completely developed. A little bit. I have an idea of who she is. But I haven't done a whole lot of art of her.
Yeah. Like, I remember that first piece. I was kind of stupid when you released that first piece. I was like, cool, family moment. And I, like, scrolled away. And then I scrolled back up top, like, wait a minute. Like, something doesn't quite look right here. Because, I mean, I'm not going to look at some, I'm not gonna look at a woman and just assume.
Yeah.
That's rude. Like, that's rude. Like, whatever. Maybe Melody's on the heavier side. I mean, having a kid's fucking hard. Alright? Whatever. But the way, like, Seuss was holding her, I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. And, like, I asked, he was like, dude, are you planning something? You were like, maybe.
Maybe.
Like, damn, yes! Hell yeah! So do you plan on giving Seuss and Melody any more children, or are you thinking they'll just stick to the 2?
They have 7 kids, but I don't know if I'm going to develop the rest of them just out of laziness. Yeah, it's a lot of work to sit and create a whole person.
You're right. I totally forgot that, like, you had agreed. Like, yeah, that little thing that he said, one to love every week, he meant that. Like, oh, shit.
Yeah, he meant that. That's something he's going to commit to.
Are there any other art projects or things that you have planned for the future that you feel like sharing?
A lot of the things that I do It's usually just like stuff that a lot of the times I post something. I did it the day before. I did it like the day of. Whenever I do post like a doodle or a drawing or a comic, it's usually done that day. So a lot of times, I will be at work, or I'll see something online and I'll think that sounds like a good idea, and I'll just start and I'll hyperfixate on that for a day and then finish it. I do have something in the works. Every so often I do have like a plan. I have several things. I still have like a bunch of Ramirez wedding stuff that I gotta do. I kind of fell off of that just because like I said, I came up with a bunch of other things on the day of, and I was like, I'm gonna focus on this for right now. And then I kind of put it. It's in the back seat. It's on the shelf. There's a lot of little stuff that I wanted to get done, but there's also this one big thing that I wanted to get done with the Ramirez wedding stuff. That it's pretty much finished. I just need to draw it. It's all written out. It's all written out, and it's the plan is there. I just haven't sat down to draw it. And I just don't feel like it. And then I have, I've been playing with Storyboard Pro for a little bit, and I have something with that in the works. I think you know about.
Yeah, I'm special.
Yeah, you know about this. The one that took me the longest was the Carnival comic, the Courage comic. That took about 2 weeks. I was gonna color it in, but I wanted it done by Stan and Ford's birthday. So
yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yeah, that's an original one that I wrote. I sat and I made a script for it, and I got it done really, really quick.
Yeah, it's a good story. I think my favorite comic of yours that you've ever done, though, definitely has to be when Bill and Rick meet, because it is just so fucking in character and so fucking good. Like, I could give you your own dimension, your own galaxy. So what? I could put it in my asshole and 50 more in my car. Like, and it's so fucking in character. God damn it, I will sell my soul to have Alex Hirsch and Justin Roiland voice it. It's so good.
That one, that one caught the world by storm, because I made that and I posted it on Tumblr, and Tumblr was like, "Oh, that's good," and then they kind of left it alone. Instagram took it and ran with it. That one's reaching 22,000 likes on my Instagram.
Damn.
Yeah. And then that I think I reached 20,000 likes in about 3 days. And ever since it's been ever since it's kind of like slowly moved up, every so often I'll get a little like from it. But that one I did very, very early in my fan art career, I guess is what you can call it.
Yeah.
I did it really, really early, and I was like, oh wow, people like this. Okay, I might make more. Because I started doing fan art because, like I said before, a lot of my art was production stuff. I worked on Nomad of Nowhere for Rooster Teeth in 2018. Yeah, I did background art, and that was cool. And that was a really cool experience, being able to work in an actual animation production. But a lot of that stuff, it's super stressful. And creating art for those portfolios is I wasn't like in love with it. I could do it really well, and I was pushing myself to try and get a bunch of stuff done so that way I could have a nice portfolio. And then working on the show, it was fun and it was a cool experience. I'm totally down to do it again because there's a high there. There's a high that I'm chasing when it comes to that. But I had a lot of panic attacks throughout that time. I was just stressing out because it was my very first animation job, and it was with a company that I love and recognize to this day still, and with a property that I had watched already. So there was a lot of pressure there, and it was also my second job ever. Because my first job was the caricature gig that I currently have, and then my second one was Rooster Teeth, which is a huge name. At least for me, it's a big name. And I got really jealous, specifically of some of the artists that I started falling in love with. Like I think after Gravity Falls, I watched it the second time with my younger brother, and that's when I started watching it. I watched that show with my younger brother, and he was watching it for the first time, but I was watching Stan because I was like, okay, so I already know all these little these twists and turns. I'm gonna sit and watch Stan, and I'm gonna see what he does. And there's a lot of little things that I was like, oh, and he goes, what? And I'm like, nothing. Shut up. But and then at some point I got Journal 3. I got the special edition journal. And I sat and I read it, and I was like, "That's cool. This is a really cool thing to have." And then one day, I decided to sit and read the entire thing from front to back. And then I went and reread it again with all the blacklight stuff. And then I decoded everything, and I was like, "I'm gonna watch the show again." And I sat and I rewatched the show, and I decoded. I basically watched it chronologically. I watched the show chronologically, reading the journal first, and then going over the show again. That's whenever I started. I really hyperfixated on it, and I started to look up some fan art, and I wanted to read some fan fiction, and I ran into Artsy Missy stuff, and I got so jealous of her stuff because first of all, her art is really really good, and she's so angsty. I love it so much. I love the angsty stuff, and I was about that. That was what I was looking for. With some angsty sea grunkle stuff, because that's what I wanted to see some more of those two. I loved their relationship, and I loved it melts my heart that Stan finally gets what he wants at the end, to go sail in the world with his Bobo, which is what I call brothers in my family.
Yeah, I kind of picked that up. I was a little confused, but the Chibi Ford Stan art you released just a few minutes ago, I was like, oh, that's a Bobo. Okay.
Yeah. So I was looking around, and I was looking for my Sea Grunkles album for everywhere. Oh, the Sea Grunkles album that I did, where it's like all those photographs of standing forward off doing their thing.
Oh yeah.
I have two of those. I have two albums. And the reason why they got made was because I could not find anybody else who had the idea. And I was like, how come this hasn't been done yet? This is just perfect. Why is, like, I was looking through Artsy Misha stuff. I'm like, she didn't do it either. And I looked at Kiki Kit's art. I love their style. I a lot of the time when I started doing Gravity Falls art, I was really trying to emulate her style because I really love the way she does like eyes. I love the way she does eyes, and I love the implied animation that she has. There's so much movement in her drawings, and they're just stills, but you can see them.
Bitch.
You can see them breathing and talking, and the way that like she has their hands. There's animation there, but it's just stills, and there's so much going on. And I try to emulate that.
I'm gonna make a random guess.
Mm.
Sorry, I'm just gonna make a random guess that the Mabelverse story is your favorite in Lost Legends, based on what you just said.
Yeah. I think actually I did not read the Lost Legends until after I'd already gotten into doing fan art. So I already ran into Kiki's stuff, and I was like, oh, beautiful. It's beautiful stuff. And I read the comic probably sometime mid 2020 because I don't think I got it for a while. Yeah, it had been a while before I got it, and I was like, oh, I recognize this art. That's kind of cool. And then I figured it out by myself that was the same artist. Actually, I think I ran into that lyric comic that she did. The what's the name of that song?
Oh no, Colors.
Colors.
Oh,
That's
no.
what it was.
Oh,
That's
no.
what got me going into the cesspool that is Tumblr. I was just looking around, I was like, I found the lyric comic on YouTube. And I loved it, and I was like, "That's beautiful. That's gorgeous." I had to look, and I looked around for more fan art because I just really wanted to see more fan art. And I ran into Kit stuff. I ran into Artsy Misha stuff, and it was really a lot of it was my Artsy Misha because I got really jealous because I was like, "This is so fun. This looks like so much fun. I want to have fun. I want to have some fun. And I started kind of doing. I think my first bit of like digital. Gravity Falls art was this overshot of the Stanley War going towards a storm, and there's like lightning, and you can see Cthulhu, and it's very environment driven artwork. And then I started doing like little mini comics, and then I did the Rick versus Bill comics, and that blew up, and I was like, I'm leaning towards this now because I like that was fun. I did that in a day, and I was like, that was fun. I'm gonna do more of these.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I started, and there went my Tumblr.
Yeah, I know, and you have quite the impressive, like, 'cause, like, in my mind, I mean, I'll tell you what I texted you the other night. Like, in my mind, you truly are, like, just up there with some of the big names, and it's like, it continually blows my mind that not only that you're so big and so talented and just so amazing and so funny, but that you actually want to take the time to talk to me. Like, sometimes I get, like, that fangirl moment, like, with you or Lemon, and I'm like, "Oh my god, they think they like me?" Like,
I
"Oh my god, okay."
I am merely a nerdy person who can.
And I keep trying to remind myself, like, these are normal people, it's fine. But, like, it's still just kind of, like, mind-blowing, like, whenever, like, you reblog something or, like, you know, or we do something, or I don't know, and I'm just like, okay, whatever, alright, okay. Not freaking out, it's fine, it's
It's fine.
fine.
I get like that with Atsumishi every so often. I
Aw,
see
man.
that. I was excited when I saw that she was on Lemon's server, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And every so often when I do see her post anything, it's immediately a like. I don't know how many times I'll open Tumblr at work or something like that, and the image hasn't loaded yet, but I see Artsy post something. I just put a like on it anyway.
Exactly, yeah,
Like
just
the image
to
is
be
not
safe.
loaded yet, but I know it's gonna be good. But I don't really talk to her that much. Every so often I'll post something. I'll do artwork for her on Tumblr. Like I'll do like Chibi Stan or something, or something to do with her, and I'll tag her and let her know that I drew something for you. And then she drew Pop Up and Jacob for my birthday.
Oh, she did,
It's
didn't
the cutest
she?
thing in the world, and it's so precious. I love it so much.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's a very nice girl. Like I said, I interviewed her
She
earlier
is. She's a sweetie.
today. She was actually so fucking cute. Like, I was a huge fucking nervous wreck, so I was like, okay, I'm talking to Artsy. Don't fuck this up.
Yeah,
Don't scare her away.
Archie's been in the game for a lot longer than I have.
Dude, she's been in the game since like 2016. Like, she's
Jesus.
been in the fan art. She's been in the fan community for like so fucking long. It's like not even funny. Like, it was so funny. Like, I won't get too much into it because, you know, I'm gonna release hers first. By the time this is
Yeah.
out, you can just go listen to that. But like, when we were first starting out, we had this like long, awkward silence for like a minute. She was just as nervous as I was. I was like, why the fuck is she nervous to talk to me? It's Artsy. Like, maybe she's just anxious. Maybe she's just nervous. We were both just like these fucking nervous, anxious fangirls who were like so nervous to talk to each other that like the beginning was a little rocky. I was like, okay, this is Artsy. I'm talking to her. This is nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so you talk, and then she would talk a little bit, but again, like you could just tell, like she super sweet girl, super sweet,
Yeah,
super nice.
she seems like a sweet person. It's just based on some of the text posts she'll put on her blog. She's every time that like all of her like the tags that she posts whenever she reblogs something, it's always all caps, hearts and stuff like that. And I was like, look at this person, look at her, she's just freaking out.
I know. Nothing makes me ever. I don't know about you, but like nothing ever makes my heart more happy than like when people comment or like put something in the tags.
Oh, no, me too.
Like,
I guess so.
like, yeah, like it's one thing if somebody hearts or reblogs my stuff. I'm like, oh, thanks. But then like when somebody says something, I'm like. I'm just so glad we get to hear Alex Hirsch's voice work again because he's such a talented voice actor.
I love hearing his voice. I watched that TikTok that Povenmire did. Was it Dan Povenmire? He did that. There's a platypus, and then somebody puts Dipper's hat. Oh, it's a crossover, and then he gets Alex to go Dipper the platypus. Every time I hear him do Stan's voice, I forget how much I actually really miss hearing him say things.
I know.
I watched the show a million times, but I know what he says and I know what he's going to say. But when I hear him say something new, it's a whole other ballgame. I love hearing him talk.
I know it. I feel like you can be wishful and kind of be like, oh man, this would be so cool to see, but still respect if it never
Oh,
gets executed. Because again,
'Cause
the beauty of fan art and fan fiction is that if you want it done so badly, do it your fucking self. Like,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
pressure other people to execute it for you. If you want to see something
especially the
done, do
creators.
it yourself.
People keep telling. I see on comments all the time, like people telling the creators, like, "Ooh, there has to be a crossover, Gravity Falls crossover. Please do it." And it's like they don't need to do that. They don't have to. I'll be with them if they decide not to do it. But you know, I'll always appreciate little Easter eggs. I'll see like Dipper's hat in the background. I'm like, oh, that's cute. That's cool.
Yeah.
Logan, be quiet. It's dinner time. I'm gonna talk and feed Katie.
Okay. Feed the baby. Feed the baby. Yeah.
But yeah, that's just I know that's how production typically works, and it's like, you know, fandoms take their stuff very seriously, and the creators not so much. They just want to create something funny and fun, and that's usually it's out of their hands once it's out in the world.
You laughed at me so evilly. Suffer, bitch.
You and your feelings.
I have a lot of feels. I mean, I'm sorry. Like,
a lot of times, a lot of my art I'll post because I know it's angsty, and I'm just like, I'm about to make everybody sad. Yeah, I get like that every time I post something angsty because I'll get the angsty. I'll get angsty myself, and every so often I get myself in the moment, especially when I'm writing something original. I put myself in there emotionally, so that way it does come out the way I want it to. But once it's done, and I start to post, I go, everybody else is about to be sad too.
like, I suffered, so y'all have to suffer too.
I don't know how. Yeah, I think I've actually said that in some posts. I was like, I cried when I made this, so now all of y'all have to suffer too.
I bet you did. Oh my goodness.
I feel like I have. I think I've done it several times.
I'm sure you have. I mean, you're just such a mean bitch. Like,
I
I'm
am.
just kidding. I love you. Oh
You
my
can say
God.
that. My icon is that angry all the time for that reason. That's a
Oh, jeez.
it's a little me being angry.
I like your little me. I also love Logan. He is so perfect and
He
angry.
is indeed.
You two are made for each other.
We're both
I don't
very
know why,
angry.
but I don't know why, but that drawing you did of like someone asked anonymously, like, can you draw like they literally just said the word like Logan or something like that, and you're like, I don't know what you want. Do you want Ford and Logan? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's
They said Logan, and I was like, Wolverine, because that's what I named him after. And I was like,
yeah.
I was like, are you trying to get me into the X-Men fandom? I like X-Men, but I'm not like a fan. I'm not like into it. But I did name Logan after Wolverine. So I was like, I don't know if you're talking about Wolverine or my cat, but here's my cat. I really do love that picture though of Ford holding Logan, and Logan is in panic mode because that's exactly what will happen.
Yeah,
He's just
it's
panic.
yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know why, but it makes me smile. I think it's one of those images in my head that lives rent free. Like, I'll just be waiting tables and I'll smile behind my mask, like, like gotcha.
I don't know where it went. There doesn't seem to be one.